Congress reportedly passing around a so-called Gonners list of 34 House seats they expect to lose on Election Day. If that happens, it'd be a rout for the Democrats, one that could leave the GOP in the minority for years to come. But will it be as bad as Republicans fear? Well, our chief national correspondent, John King, has been looking into all of this for us. And John, there are 435 House seats, I know, up for grabs, a third in the Senate. Explain to us why Republicans are so worried about some of those races. What are your sources telling you about these so-called worst-case scenarios?
Campbell, I touched base with a half-dozen top Republican strategists today who are closely involved in these congressional races, and you get the bottom line by this statement. They say if they only lose 25 or 26 House seats, they will consider that a good night. That tells you how bleak they think things are heading into the final week of campaigning. Let's take a look at this for a little perspective. This is the balance of power in the House of Representatives. 235 Democrats right now, one vacancy in a Democratic seat, so essentially 236. Come over 199 on the Republican side. So already the Democrats have a 36-seat margin. Well, imagine then if they picked up 25, 30 House seats. That is possible on the House side. In a best-case scenario for Republicans, they say they will lose 24. That makes Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats much more powerful on the House side. Now let's flip over to the Senate. How many times have we watched legislation stall in the Senate and people say, if only we had 60, then we could break a filibuster? Well, the Democrats have 51 at the moment, 49 Republicans. It's actually 49-49, but two independents, Bernie Sanders and Joe Lieberman, vote with the Democrats. So 51-49, this is where it gets fascinating. Republicans think they will lose at least 5 and as many as 10 seats in the Senate side. And some of these names you know. Elizabeth Dole, the wife of the former Senate leader Bob Dole. She's a senator from North Carolina. She is in a very tough race. That is one of the places where they believe, the Republicans believe, that Barack Obama will help their candidate significantly because he will increase turnout there. Another name you might know is the Senate Republican leader, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. That is less likely, but that is a competitive race, Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. Ted Stevens right now is Senator Bridge to Nowhere. You might know him at home. He's on trial at the moment, and Republicans think that's a tough race anyway, and they think the Democrat would almost certainly win if Ted Stevens is convicted. A whole host more, Campbell. Al Franken, the comedian, is the Democratic candidate out in Minnesota. Norm Coleman is the incumbent in that race. There are open seats in New Mexico and Colorado the Democrats expect to pick up. There's a seat down in Georgia. Saxby Chambliss won that seat 6 years ago. If there is a huge African-American turnout because of Barack Obama, the Georgia seat could fall as well. So, again, the 24 House seats at a minimum, maybe more than 30 on the House side, Republicans say they will lose, and they say 5 would be lucky in the Senate. They think it could go, Campbell, as high as 9 or 10.
All right, John, before you go, everybody knows, of course, you're the king of the magic wall. I don't know if you saw this last night, but you may be getting a little competition out there from the folks at SNL. Take a look.
Let's get right to the mega map. Great. Okay, one thing we're going to look at is we're going to want to look at Pennsylvania. Let's have a look at that. Have a really good look at Harrisburg. Getting really close to that. Fantastic. Let's go back a little bit. Back a little bit more. Back a little bit more. And let's go over to Idaho. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a really close look at it. Really, really close. Really, really close. Excellent. Let's go back for that. Now the country can be moved up and down, like so. Also, don't forget, we can also shrink it so you can put it in your pocket if you need to.
I'm sorry. I think he nailed you.
Fred's pretty good there, don't you think? I'm a little worried about my job security. I used to move pianos in the old days. I have bartending skills. You know, Fred did a great job. I thought he was hilarious, and we also should give credit where credit is due. Our own Josh Braun, who helps me quite a bit, went over to SNL and gave Fred some help.
Oh, he did?
He did, indeed. He taught him how to move in, bring things out, push things down, but I'm worried. I'm worried.
Well, and he gets so much more specific than you do. I think for the next, well, I guess election night, John, if you could really get more into the details the way he does, I think that would be good for all of us.
I think what I'm going to do is shrink the country, put it in my pocket, and go somewhere and figure out the election.
And have a beer. Okay, John King for us tonight, John. Thanks. See ya.